Now coming to the generator load model. So this generator load model gives the relation between the change in the frequency delta F as a result of change in the generation delta PG when the load changes by a small amount delta PD. So this gives a relation between the change in the frequency as a result of the change in the generation when the load is changed by the small amount delta PD. So here in the entire analysis, if you observe, we have discussed about the delta, the small signal analysis changes only. We are not directly concentrating upon F. We are concentrating upon delta F, that is a change, and change in the power, change in the turbine power output. So like that we have discussed. So we are discussing the small signal analysis only. So here what is meant by this delta F, delta PG and delta PD? If we correlate all this, if there is a change in the load demand, that is a delta PD. If there is a change in the load demand delta PD, in order to meet this delta PD, you have to increase the generation from the power plant. Let it is the delta PG. Let it is a delta PG. So in order to meet the increment in the load, we have to increase the generation from the power plant. So it is a delta PG. If this delta PG increment in the generation should not match with the increment or requirement in the change of the load, then there will be a change in the frequency delta F. If these two are not matched, not matched, then there will be a change in the frequency delta F. That's why we have said that generator load model gives the change in the frequency delta F, the change in the frequency delta F as a result of change in the generation delta PG when the load demand is changes by small amount delta PD. So the main cause for the change in the frequency here, it is the change in the load demand. In order to meet the change in the load demand, you have to increase the generation from the power plant. If these two are not matched, then there is a change in the frequency. So this frequency may be increased or decreased. So if it is a only change in the frequency, so if the change in the generation is a very less, then the overall frequency will be reduced. So suppose initially the load on the system, it is given by, under the steady state conditions, generation is equal to the load demand. Generation equal to the load demand in the initial conditions. So so that in this condition the change in the frequency will be 0, because whatever the load requirement is there, we are generating it. So that's why the change in the frequency is 0, and the frequency will be rated, it is a 50 Hz. We are made in the 50 Hz. But we do consider, let us suppose load demand initially it is a 500 megawatt, and the load requirement it is increased by 50, so that the total load requirement is a 550 megawatt. Here the change in the load demand it is a 50 megawatt. The change in the load demand we require, it is a 50 megawatt. So in order to meet this 50 megawatt, then you have to increase the generation. So initially the generation it is a 500 megawatt, and when the load is increased, in order to meet the increment in the load, so the speed governing action will be there. So that there will be adjustments of the control valve, and input to the turbine will be increased, so that output of the generator will be increased. So during that process, because of the small adjustment of the control valve, so that is a small increment in the control valve than the requirement, the output of the generator will be 560 megawatt, let it be. So here the change in the generation, here it is a delta PG, so it is a 60 megawatt, 60 megawatt. So here if we compare these two, delta PG minus delta PD, the surplus power more than required power, it is a 10 megawatt. More than the required, it is a 10 megawatt. We want the increment in the load, it is a 50 megawatt, but we have generated, so because of the some problem with respect to the hydraulic amplifier or control valve adjustment, we have generated 60 megawatt. So the surplus power, the more than the required power, it is a 10 megawatt. So because of this 10 megawatt, there is a change in the frequency, positive change in the frequency, so it is a delta F. Actually, if the both are equal, the delta F will be 0. But here delta PD and delta PG are not equal. That's why it will be delta F. So, or you can say, you can compare these two. The actual requirement of the load is a 550 megawatt, but we are generating 560 megawatt. So, which is a more than the requirement. That means real power generation is a more than the real power demand. In that case, the frequency will rise. Frequency will rise. So, here there is a surplus power, and that is given by delta F, and the frequency rise will be F plus delta F. The frequency rise will be F plus delta F. So if it is a less than the 50, then it will be F minus delta F. So already rated frequency 50 plus this delta F will be added, so that the frequency will be rise. The frequency will be rise. So this is what will happen in this system. So this generator load model gives the change in the frequency delta F as a output. So the change in the frequency delta F as a result of the change in the generation when the load demand is changes by a small amount of the delta PD. So here the main culprit in the system is a delta PD. So which is called as a disturbance variable, which is called as a disturbance variable. So if there is a increment or decrement in the entire system, according to that, you have to adjust the generation. If the adjustment is not equal to the requirement of the load, then automatically it affects the delta F, which may not be equal to the 0 at any case if these two are not matched. So here the speed governing system always try to match the increment in the load by generating the which is equal to the load. So that is what is happening with respect to the generator load model. Now here he has given the increment in the power input to the generator load system. So here if we consider this example, the increment in the power input to the generator load system, it is given by 10 megawatt here. So here delta PG minus delta PD. What is the increment in the load, or what is the change in the load demand, and what is the amount we have generated? So the change in the load demand and the change in the generation, these two are equal, then the delta PG minus delta PD will be equal to the 0. So if these two are equal, so like that. But if these two are unequal, then you will get the some power like this. Then so it will be, so this is the case here, 10 megawatt is there. So this 10 megawatt is the increment in the power input to the generator system. Increment in the power input to the generator system. So delta PG minus delta PD. So this is equal to 10 megawatt with respect to our example. Now here this 10 megawatt, so it is the surplus power available at the bus bar of the system. Surplus power available at the bus bar of the system. Or we need not require this 10 megawatt. Actually we want only 550 megawatt, but we have generated 560 megawatt, which is not required this 10 megawatt extra. So this 10 megawatt extra is available at the bus bar. So now where it goes, that is the problem here. We need to discuss here. This 10 megawatt, where it will go, so, and what will happen with respect to this 10 megawatt in the system. Now here we have assumed one condition here, that delta PG equal to delta PD. Delta PG equal to delta PD. So here increment, this delta PD is the incremental power output. Delta PT is the incremental turbine power output, and delta PD is the load increment here. So here we have assumed the condition that delta PG equal to delta PD. In this condition, we have this is the turbine, and the turbine is coupled to the generator, and it is the output of the generator, and it is a turbine. Here now input and output of the turbine. So here output of the turbine, it is given by delta PT, and output of the generator, it is given by delta PG. So note that we are discussing about changes in the powers. That's why every time I am mentioning this delta. Output of the turbine, it is a delta PT, and output of the generator, it is a delta PG. And here we are assuming that output of the turbine delta PT equal to output of the generator delta PG. When it is a possible? It is a possible if we assume that generator incremental loss is to be negligible. That means inside the generator, if there is any losses, those are negligible. No doubt there are the losses in the generator, but for the simplification purpose in this analysis, we are assuming that the losses, incremental losses in the generator are negligible. We are assuming that. Why we have mentioned increment again? Because we are discussing about the increment changes in the load demand, or increment in the load demand, increment in the generation. So if there is an increment in the generation, definitely there will be a incremental loss. That's why he has mentioned incremental loss. We have taken in this that is an increment in the load demand. There is another case that decrement in the load demand, but in this case, for the analysis purpose, we have considered the increment in the load demand. For that, there should be an increment of the generation. If both are mismatched, then the incremental power will be available at the bus bar, so which is an input to the generator load system. That is called as a surplus power, and which is not useful because our load is not required, and where it will go. So we will discuss it here. So here delta PG equal to delta PT is nothing but this one. Output of the turbine power is given as a input to the generator, and output of the generator is a delta PG. Inside losses are negligible, we are assuming. So input to the generator is equal to the output to the generator. So this is what we have assumed here. So this is the one assumption. And delta PD here assumed is it is called as a load increment. So it is a load increment in this condition, delta PD. So all are defined here. Increment in the power input to the generator, delta PG, delta PD, load increment, and assumption, all are discussed here. Now coming to the case. So this surplus power will be absorbed in the system by the two ways. So this is the first way. The surplus power will be absorbed in the two ways. The first one is a rate of increase of the stored kinetic energy in the generator rotor. So the increment in the power input to the system, it is accounted for in a two ways, or we can say that the surplus power, or the power which is generated more than our requirement, can be converted into the another form in the system, or absorbed, surplus power absorbed in the system by the two ways. One of the way is first one is the rate of increase of the stored kinetic energy in the generator rotor. That means in the alternator we have the rotor, that rotor speed will be increased. So that is the kinetic energy of the generator rotor will be increased. Now let us see how it will be happens. At scheduled frequency F0, the stored kinetic energy. We will consider here the two cases. Without disturbance condition, it is let us consider the frequency, it is F0. Frequency, it is F0. When the system has a frequency F0, the stored kinetic energy in the rotor, the stored kinetic energy in the generator rotor, it is given by WKE naught. It is without disturbance condition. Without disturbance means there is no changes in the load demand. There is no changes in the load demand. Already there is exists some load and we are generating some power. Both are balanced, so there is no disturbance at all, and we are maintaining the frequency F naught. Corresponding to that, the stored kinetic energy, it is a WKE naught. So this is the case here. But we are assuming that there is a load increment here. There is a load increment we are assuming here. So this is assumed here. If you assume increment in the load, it is some sort of the disturbance in the system. So if there is a disturbance in the system, then the frequency will be increases. So it is given by F plus delta F. F plus delta F naught plus delta F. So why I have taken this plus instead of minus? Because here we have taken load increment. Load increment means delta PD, it is a positive. So that means delta PG is generated more than the delta PD. That means the generation is greater than the load requirement. So the frequency will be rise. Frequency will be rise. The frequency rise means F naught plus delta F should be greater than the 50 Hz. So 50 plus some value. So it may be 1 Hz or 1.2 Hz or 2 Hz. So you will get 52 Hz. That is frequency rise. That's why I have taken F naught plus delta F. At this condition, the kinetic energy of the generator rotor will be WKE. So these are the two cases we have taken. That is a F naught at the scheduled frequency without any disturbance condition, WKE naught, and with disturbance there is a changes in the frequency delta F, and F naught plus delta F, the stored kinetic energy, it is a WKE here. Now what is the here the relation between the WKE and F naught? So what is the relation between these two, WKE and F naught? We have to identify here. Why this kinetic energy is increased if the frequency is increased. So let us suppose consider there is a we have considered here that there is a load increment and there is a surplus power. So this is because of this surplus power, the kinetic energy of the rotor is increased. That is what we have assumed. Now why it is happens here? So if we consider the single equation in the power system analysis, so we have m d omega by dt equal to, so it is equal to Ta. So it is a accelerating torque, Ta is there. So if the generation is greater than the load demand, if the generation is greater than the load demand, accelerating torque will be positive. Accelerating torque will be the positive. So if it is a positive means, so here generation is we are generating more power than the load requirement. So if it is a positive means, then the speed of the rotor will be increased. So if it is a case that is a surplus power 10 megawatt is there. So this 10 megawatt is cannot be destroyed. 10 megawatt is cannot be destroyed, but it can be transformed to another form. It can be transformed to another form. So this energy will be stored in the rotating mass. So this energy will be this extra energy or surplus power. So it is stored in the rotating mass of the rotor. Rotating mass of the rotor. As the it is stored in the rotating mass, so that rotating mass energy will be increased. Rotating mass energy will be increased. So if the rotating mass energy is increased, then the kinetic energy of the rotor will be increased. So this is the process here. So here the sequence is that the surplus power, so it will be stored in the rotating mass. The rotating mass energy will be increased because of the this surplus power stored in the rotating mass, and as there is an increment in the rotating mass energy, the kinetic energy of the rotor will be increased. So if the kinetic energy of the rotor is increased, then the speed and kinetic energy, these two are correlated by Ke proportional to n square. So there is a kinetic energy is a proportional to square of the speed, and it is again we can say it is a proportional to f square. So n equal to 120 f by p. So n square is a proportional to f square. Now we will use this relation. Ke is proportional to n square, and it is again proportional to the f square. So here we will use this relation for f naught. At f naught, kinetic energy is Wk naught. At f naught plus delta f, the kinetic energy is Wk. At f naught, then we can write Wke naught proportional to f naught square, proportional to f naught square, and Wke after disturbance, Wke after disturbance, it is proportional to f naught plus delta f, f naught plus delta f whole square, f naught plus delta f. So these are the two relations, Wke naught proportional to f naught square without any disturbance, and with disturbance Wke proportional to f naught plus delta f whole square. So here it is a naught, it is a without disturbance condition, without naught, so it is a with disturbance condition. And now here you both these you divide Wke divided by Wke naught, Wke by Wke naught. You can write it as a Wke, it is a f naught plus delta f divided by f naught whole square. So as these two relations has the f naught square, that's why you can write f naught plus delta f whole square by f naught square, and you can write f naught plus delta f by f naught whole square. So this is a relation. And after this you can write it as a 1 plus delta f by f naught whole square, delta f by f naught whole square. So f naught plus delta f by f naught. So f naught by f naught, it is a 1 plus delta f by f naught whole square. So this delta f by f naught is actually it is a very small, because delta f is a very small change in the frequency. So it will be approximately 1 Hz or 0.5 Hz like that it is there. But f naught here it is a 50 Hz. So this term is a very small. Now for this you apply Taylor series. This is equal to 1 plus 2 delta f by f naught plus you will get higher order terms. You will get higher order terms, and this is the case here. So this is equal to f naught 1 plus 2 delta f by f naught plus some higher order terms you will get it. So these higher order terms, these will be neglected because delta f by f naught is a very small. So if you get the higher order terms and you will get very small value, that's why we will neglect the higher order terms, and we do consider here these two terms only, 1 plus 2 delta f by f naught. That's why we have considered in this case Wke equal to Wke naught multiplied by 1 plus 2 delta f divided by f naught. So this is the equation for kinetic energy Wke equal to the kinetic energy without disturbance condition Wke naught, that is at f naught, multiplied by 1 plus 2 delta f by f naught. So this is the equation we got from this, Wke naught into 1 plus 2 delta f by f naught. Now here, what is the Wke naught here? So in order to find out that, Wk naught. So you may recall one equation, that is the inertia constant H equal to, that is given by kinetic energy Ke divided by it is a rating of the machine, it is a PR. It is the rating of the machine PR. So here from this we want kinetic energy. So this kinetic energy is given by inertia constant multiplied by rating of the machine PR. So we can write this as a, if it is a PR, it is in terms of kW, and H is in terms of the seconds, then you can write it as a kW seconds. kW seconds we can write. So that's why he has given Wk naught equal H into PR kW seconds or kilojoules. So you write Wk naught in place of Wk naught HPR, and finally we got Wke equal to HPR into 1 plus 2 delta F by F naught. So this is the kinetic energy after the disturbance. Kinetic energy after the disturbance. But we want rate of increase of the kinetic energy. But we want here this rate of increase of the kinetic energy that has to be calculated. For that, what we have to do, you have to differentiate this kinetic energy with respect to the T. Then d by dt Wk equal to HPR. So you take it as it is. Actually, this HPR you keep as it is, multiplied by 1 plus. So it is a constant. That's why it is a 0. It is a 0 plus here 2 by F naught is a constant. So 2 and F naught is a constant because without a disturbance condition F naught is a 50 Hz. That's why it is a constant. The only variable it is a delta F. That's why you can write it as a d by dt of delta F. D by dt of delta F. So it is the rate of change of kinetic energy. D by dt of Wk equal to HPR multiplied by, this will become 0 plus 2 by F naught into d by dt of delta F naught. So this is the case. And multiply this HPR to this equation, as it is a 0. So it will be 0 and multiplied by 2 HPR by F naught into d by dt of delta F. So you multiply this HPR with this entire term, then you will get this one. So this is the first case, how the surplus power can be absorbed in the system. So there are two ways. One of the way is there is a rate of increase of the steroid kinetic energy. Because of the surplus power, it will be absorbed in the system two ways. One of the way is by increasing the stored kinetic energy. The rate of change of the kinetic energy, it is given by, so this d by dt of Wke equal to K 2HPR by F naught d by dt of delta F naught. So this is the relation what we required from the first case. Here PR is the rating of the mission in terms of the kW, and inertia constant is there. Inertia constant and d by dt of change in the frequency. So this is the case one. Now let us see the another case. As the frequency changes, the motor load also changes, being it is a sensitive to load. And the rate of change of load with respect to the frequency, it is given by dou PD by dou F. So what he want to say is that if the load changes, then the frequency changes, and if the frequency changes, then the motor load will be changes. So it is a sensitive to the load. So the rate of change of the load with respect to the frequency, it is given by dou PD by dou F. So it is the relation here. Here he has given that the surplus power, we are talking about the surplus power. The surplus power can be absorbed in the system by two ways. One of the ways is by increasing the kinetic energy of the generator rotor. Another one is that the load will be increased. The rate of change of the load with respect to the frequency. with respect to the frequency. So that is given by dou PD by dou F. It is given by, if there is a change in the frequency, there will be a change in the load. There is a change in the load because mostly the loads are the motor load. So if the frequency changes, then the load also changes. And he is saying that dou PD by dou F can be regarded as nearly constant for small changes in the frequency. So it is a relation between if there is a change in the frequency, the load demand also changes. So that is what he is saying. But this, if it is multiplied with a small change in the frequency, so small change in the frequency, then it is approximately equal to the constant. That is dou PD by dou F multiplied by delta F. So it is approximately constant. So this dou PD by dou F, it is a load to load, it will be changes. It may be 1%, suppose it is a 1%. That means if there is a 1% change in the frequency, the load change will be 1%, like that. If it is a 2%, that means if it is there is a change in the frequency by 2%, then the change in the load demand by 2%. So like that, we can assume the relation between these two. And if it is multiplied with the small change in the frequency delta F, then it is approximately equal to the constant, because it is a very small. Dou PD by dou F into delta F equal to B delta F. So which is a constant. This B is given by dou PD by dou F. Dou PD by dou F. So it is a B is a positive for predominantly motor load. So it will be the positive. And if there is an increment in the frequency, there is an increment in the load, like that we will have. And this is also called as a area parameter. So this B is called as a area parameter, and it is a constant. Actually, it is a constant. So constant because it is a 1% or 2%, like that. So if there is a change in the frequency, the same will be affects the delta PD also. So another one is the dou PD by dou F into delta F equal to B into delta F. This is a surplus power absorbed in the system in this manner. It is a B delta F. So this is the second case. The power balance equation, it is given by delta PG minus delta PD and 2H PR by F naught into delta F plus V delta F. It is a power balance equation, and divide this entire equation with PR in order to convert into the per unit system. We are dividing this right side and left hand side with the PR, and it is a converted into the per unit system. Delta PG minus delta PD into delta PG per unit minus delta PD equal to 2H by F naught, and it is a converted into B delta PD and delta PG in terms of the per unit system. So it is a power balance equation here. That means the surplus power is absorbed in the system by the two ways. That is a rate of increase of stored kinetic energy, and also the increase in the load demand. So that is a thing here. Now let us see the continuation of this topic. So delta Fs equal to delta Pg of S minus delta Pd of S by, from the previous equation, you apply the Laplace transform. For this equation, delta Pg of S, again I am writing delta Pg of S minus delta Pd of S equal to constant, it is a 2H by F naught multiplied by d by dt of delta F, S into delta F of S, S into delta F of S plus B delta F. So it is B into delta F of S. This is the equation. You take delta F of S out, then you will get 2H by F naught into S plus B. So this delta F, it is a written here, delta F of S, and delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s as it is, and 2h by f naught into s plus b. So this is here. From this delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s multiplied by, you can write it as a kps by 1 plus tps into s. You can write like this. From this you can take delta f of s equal to delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s in the numerator side. In the denominator, you take b out. So 1 plus 2h by f naught into s. So b mano bite this question 2h by b multiplied by f naught you will get 2h by b f naught into s. So this is what he has written, b plus 2h by f naught into s. Then you can write it as a like this, b into 1 plus 2h by b f naught into s. And again we can adjust this one as a 1 by b divided by 1 plus 2h by b f naught into s multiplied by delta Pg s minus delta Pd of s. Delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s into kps by 1 plus tps into s. This is the taken as a kps here. So entire 1 by b is taken as a kps, and 1 plus tps into s, where tps is the 2h by bf naught. So this is taken as a tps. So power system time constant. So delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s multiplied by kps by 1 plus tps into s, where kps is the 1 by b power system gain, and tps equal to 2h by bf naught power system time constant. Now you can write the block diagram. So from this you can write the block diagram. So here in this transfer function, delta f of s is the output, and delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s is the input to the generator load model. So here you can observe there is a point here minus. Delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s given as a input to the kps by 1 plus tps into s block, and output you will get delta f of s. For that you have taken one summing block, delta Pg of s and minus delta Pd of s, that's why added here, and output of this is a delta Pg of s minus delta Pd of s, and this is given as an input to this one, and this input multiplied by kps by 1 plus tps into s, and you will get the delta f of s, which is nothing but the change in the frequency. So it is the block diagram representation of the generator load model. It is the entire thing with respect to the generator load model. So finally we got, it gives the relation between the change in the frequency delta f, the change in the frequency delta f of s as a result of the change in the generation delta Pg of s when the load changes by delta Pd. So this is the block diagram representation of the generator load model. Now let us see overall block diagram of the single area system. So here we have three block diagrams. The first one is the block diagram representation of the speed governing system. Here we have delta Pc of s minus 1 by r into delta f of s. So it is given as an input to this block KSG by speed governing system gain and speed governing time constant 1 plus TSG into s, and output is a delta Y of s, which controls the movement of the valve output. It is there. So earlier we have taken it is a delta X of s, and no doubt you can take the delta Y of s also. So this is the input to the speed governing system, and it is the output of the speed governing system which controls the movement of the control valve movement, so that it will open and close, so that the output, so it will be changes open and close. And this next one is the turbine model. So output of this this one is given as a input to the turbine delta Y of s, and it is equal to the kT by 1 plus Tt into s. So this input multiplied by the block, this block KT by 1 plus T, then you will get the turbine power output. Input to the turbine delta Y of S, so which is a valve power, and it is a turbine output power. And block diagram representation of the generator load model. So we have drawn this block diagram now. Input to the system delta PG of S and delta PD of S, and it is a given as a delta PG of S minus delta PD of S is given as a input to this block, and multiplied by KPS by 1 plus TPS into S, then you will get the delta F of S. So if you observe output, we are getting delta F of S. And here input to this speed governance system delta F of S. This changes in the frequency will be continuously monitored by the speed governing system delta F of S. So if there is any change, then it will be sensed by the flyball speed governor, and it is given to the input, and this entire system will be changes so that delta F of S will be equal to the 0, or change in the frequency will be the 0. So if you join all this, then you will get the complete block diagram: speed governing system, turbine model, and a generator load model. The output of the speed governing system, it is a delta Y of S. So it is a connected as a input to the system like this, input to the system. So that is a input to the turbine, and output of the turbine is given as a input to the generator load model, and output of the generator load model, or we can say that output of the system, so it is a given to the input like this. So this is the complete block diagram of the single area case. So combining all this, you get block diagram model of the load frequency control LFC. It is a KSG by 1 plus TGS, and delta Y of S as output of this one, and input to this one is the same delta Y of S, and output of the turbine model, so it is delta PTF. So here we are assuming that delta PTF is equal to delta PGF. That's why in the generator load model we have concentrated upon. We are neglecting the incremental losses in the generator. We have neglected output of the turbine and the output of the generator, both are equal, as we are assuming that incremental losses in the generator is small, negligible, and it is the generator load model. So first and second turbine model, generator load model, and delta F of S, so it is given a feedback through the 1 by R block. So it is the case here, complete block diagram representation of the isolated power system or single area system. That means if you consider the any one area, so in this area we have the certain loads we will have, and we have the generator. So whatever the loads are there, and we will supply it. So generation is equal to the load. If there is any changes in the load demand, then the this generation should be managed at the power plant side, so that both will be equal. If there is any change in the frequency because of the disturbance in the load, so that it will be given as an input to the speed governing system. So the complete system will be act in such a way that output of the system changes in the frequency of the system will be equal to the 0, so that the frequency we will maintain as a rated frequency F naught. So you all keep in mind one thing, that delta F, change in frequency, should be equal to 0 always, 0. So if you maintain that, then you can maintain the rated frequency. It is a 50 Hz. Our aim is we don't have the change in the frequency. So if there is a change in the frequency, means there is a change in the load demand, and there is a mismatch between the generation and load demand. So we will have the certain value of delta F. So we will have the delta F not equal to 0, which does not required. So if it is not equal to 0, means we are not maintaining the frequency at the rated value. So always the system will have to look after these changes in the frequency, and the speed governing system will act in such a way that this delta F will make it to the 0, so that we can maintain the rated frequency. It is a 50 Hz. Delta F, in case if you get the delta F value, it is approximately 0.2 or 0.1 or 0.3, or maximum you will get the 2 Hz, like that. So, but it may not be equal to the 0 exactly, but you may get 0.02 or 0.03, like that you can get this value. So you get clarity on this change in frequency and F. F is the rated frequency, it is a 50 Hz, and delta F is the change in frequency, so which should be equal to the 0. It should be 0 means generation equal to the load demand, and so that we can maintain the rated frequency. You don't get confused about this delta F and F. We have completed feed governing system model, turbine model, generator load model. All this is over. So load frequency control of a single area system. So it is a one title. So it is a completely finished. Based upon this complete block diagram, we will do steady state analysis of the load frequency control and dynamic response of the load frequency control. And if you add the integral controller, how the this delta F will be make it to the 0. So these will be discussed in the coming classes.